So, why do speed chasers go to Bonneville? Because it's not just a place, it's the ultimate test track, a blank canvas where speed is the art, and every run is a brush stroke in the grand mural of automotive history. It's where dreams of speed come to life, where the world's fastest aren't just measured by their speed, but by their spirit. Nestled in the northwest corner of Utah, Bonneville isn't just any place. It's like a natural wonderland for speed freaks. It's part of the Great Salt Lake Desert, about 100 miles west of Salt Lake City. A vast open expanse where the horizon seems to stretch forever. When the massive ancient Lake Bonneville dried up, it left behind a thick crust of salt, sometimes up to 5 feet deep. When wet, it's like driving on slick ice. When dry, it's as hard as concrete. The salt surface is like nature's own drag strip. Low friction, hard, and flat as a ruler. When conditions are right, it's the perfect canvas for speed. Cars, bikes, even rocket-powered vehicles can achieve speeds that would be unthinkable on regular roads or tracks. Speed at Bonneville isn't just about having a fast car, it's about the challenge. The Salt Flats test everything: your machine's engineering, your driving skills, and your sheer guts. It's where legends are made because it's not just about speed, it's about doing it in one of the harshest, most unforgiving environments. Engineers, tinkerers, and gearheads. Bonneville is a playground. It's where you can test the limits of what's possible with wheels, engines, and aerodynamics. Whether it's streamlining a car to slice through the air or tuning an engine to perfection, Bonneville is where theory meets reality at high speed. There's a rich history. From the early days of speed to now, Bonneville has been the stage for automotive evolution. Every run adds to the lore, every record to the legend. It's not just about going fast, it's about being part of that history. The birth of speed on salt. Back in 1914, Teddy Tetzlaff was the first to give it a go, hitting speeds that, while not officially recognized as records, showed the potential of the flats. Teddy Tetzlaff didn't just drive any car, he piloted the legendary Blitzen Benz. This beast was powered by a 21.5-liter inline-4 engine, pushing out around 300 horsepower. For context, that's like having a modern-day supercar's heart in a time when most cars were still figuring out how to go faster than a horse. On the Bonneville Salt Flats, Tetzlaff took this monster for a run that would have made today's speed demons green with envy. He hit speeds around 142.85 miles per hour, 229.89 kilometers per hour. Now here's the kicker. This wasn't just a casual drive. This was a statement. The Salt Flats, with their smooth, hard surface, were like nature's own racetrack, perfect for setting speeds that would have been unthinkable on regular roads. Despite the awe-inspiring speed, the record wasn't officially recognized by the powers that be back then. Why? Well, the rules were still being ironed out. The Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile, FIA, and similar bodies were still figuring out what constituted a record. There were debates over distances, conditions, and even what counted as a car. Tetzlaff's run, while a marvel, didn't fit neatly into their emerging criteria. It wasn't until the 30s that Bonneville really became the go-to spot for speed freaks. Sir Malcolm Campbell, there's a name that revs the engines of history. He kicked things off in '35, breaking the 300-mile-per-hour barrier. This was the start of Bonneville's fame. Sir Malcolm Campbell wasn't just a racer, he was a bloody pioneer. Born in 1885, this bloke wasn't content with the speed limits of his time. He was all about pushing the boundaries both on land and water. His iconic machine was the Bluebird. Not one, but several versions of it, each one more beastly than the last. From cars to boats, if it had Bluebird on it, you knew it was about to break some serious speed barriers. Campbell didn't just chase speed, he dominated it. His first land speed record was in 1924, hitting over 146 miles per hour in a sunbeam. But he wasn't done. He kept coming back, each time with a more powerful, more streamlined Bluebird. 1927, he hit 174 miles per hour with his Napier Campbell Bluebird. 1931, he broke the 200-mile-per-hour barrier, a monumental moment in speed history. 1935, at Bonneville, he smashed through 300 miles per hour in his Bluebird, setting the stage for what would become a legendary spot for speed chasers. Campbell wasn't just about driving fast, he was about innovation. His Bluebirds were marvels of engineering for their time. Streamlined bodies, powerful engines, like the Rolls-Royce R or the Napier Lion, and meticulous attention to aerodynamics. He worked with the best engineers, turning each Bluebird into a speed machine that was years ahead of its time. What made Campbell legendary wasn't just his speed, but his spirit. Here was a man who, in an era where speed was still a novelty, decided to make it his life's mission. He faced dangers, mechanical failures, and the ever-present risk of death, yet he kept pushing. His courage and determination are what make him not just a racer, but a true motorhead hero. John Cobb, Craig Breedlove, and Gary Gabalish followed, each pushing the limits further. Gabalish in his Blue Flame hit 630 miles per hour in 70, a mind-blowing feat back then. Bonneville today is not just about who's the fastest. It's about the diversity of machines, the ingenuity of their builders, and the sheer love for speed that unites them all. Whether you're into the sleek lines of a streamliner or the raw power of a hot rod, Bonneville's got a class for every speed enthusiast's heart. By the late 70s to early 80s, vehicle classifications were established. You can't have a Harley-Davidson racing against a jet-powered streamliner. The classifications are based on a variety of components like engine size, A, B, C, etc. for different cubic inch limits, then fuel, G for gas, F for fuel, and vehicle type. These classifications continue to evolve with advancements in technology like electric vehicles or even human-powered speed records have been added. These are some of the classic classifications running at Bonneville today. Streamliners, the pinnacle of speed. These are the ultimate speed machines. Think of them as the Formula One cars of Bonneville. Streamliners are designed for one thing, to slice through the air with minimal resistance. They're often powered by jet or rocket engines, with sleek aerodynamic bodies that look like they're from another planet. Examples: Craig Breedlove's Spirit of America, Gary Gabalich's Blue Flame, or even the current record holder, Thrust SSC, which hit over 760 miles per hour. Lakesters, the classics. These are the heart and soul of Bonneville for many. Originally designed for dry lake beds, these cars are stripped down to the essentials. They're often front-engine, rear-wheel drive, with a focus on lightweight and aerodynamics. Think of them as the hot rods of speed racing, but with a twist towards streamlining. Iconic Lakesters. The SoCal Streamliner, or even Burt Munro's Indian Scout, though more of a bike, embodies the spirit. Ultra-Reds, the Transformers. These are cars where the bodywork has been significantly altered for speed. They might retain some semblance of their original shape, but are heavily modified for aerodynamics. Imagine a muscle car or a classic coupe, but with a body that's been stretched or modified to reduce drag. Example: a 57 Chevy with a chopped top, extended nose, and tail fins for stability. Hot rods, the Roots. These are the original speed demons. Hot rods at Bonneville might not look like much compared to streamliners, but they're all about raw power and nostalgia. They often retain more of their original look, but are souped up with big engines, custom suspensions, and sometimes a bit of streamlining. Example: a 32 Ford Roadster with a blown Hemi under the hood. Gas coupes, the street racer's dream. These are based on production coupes, but heavily modified. They keep the general shape of the car, but with modifications for speed. Think of them as street racers that got a bit too serious about going fast. Example: a 69 Camaro with a blown big block, lowered suspension, and a custom body kit for aerodynamics. Dragsters, the quarter-mile kings. While dragsters are more associated with drag strips, they do make appearances at Bonneville. These are purpose-built for acceleration, but some adapt them for the salt, focusing on top speed over quick acceleration. Example: a top-fuel dragster with modifications for longer runs. Bikes, the two-wheeled thrills. Motorcycles have their own classes, from vintage bikes like Burt Munro's Indian Scout to modern superbikes. They're about raw speed and the thrill of riding on two wheels at insane speeds. The wildcards. If it's got wheels and can go fast, it might fall into this category. This class is for those who don't fit neatly into other boxes, but want to chase speed nonetheless. Think of it as the anything goes category where innovation and sheer audacity are the rules. Bonneville's not just a place, it's a symbol of human ambition, the relentless pursuit of speed, and the love for machines. From the early days of muscle cars and modified bikes to today's high-tech marvels, Bonneville isn't just where you go to break records. It's where you go to break barriers, to push the limits of what's possible, and to be part of something that's bigger than any single run. It's where the love for speed becomes a legend.